You're listening to the Bored to Death Bingecast, talking TV shows and movies in easily digestible chunks. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and other assorted gender assignations. Welcome back to the Bored to Death Bingecast. I am Jay, being joined by
Sam,
Zeke, and my phone's went ballistic.
and Nami is also here, aka Peanut. Whether or not she joins in will be depending on whether she has anything funny that she wants to add to the discussion. But we are here for episode 4 of WandaVision, or at least Nami, Sam, and I are here for this. Zeke has already watched this because Chris couldn't join us today. He has work, as you know, as one does, you know.
Before a snowstorm. You know,
yep, and there's a snowstorm bearing down on us as well. But so they've already watched it. We'll get Chris in to give his opinion on a future episode. You'll be giving your opinions on things after we've watched it. No spoilers.
Guess what? No credits.
How dare you, sir? I didn't want spoilers for that sort of thing.
I've already seen it too.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't wait.
Okay, I guess I'm the only one who hasn't seen it because yesterday I was working, and then after work I got together with my folks to have a steak dinner. I'm not going to turn down a steak dinner.
WandaVision or steak? Such a hard choice.
Could have both.
Could have, but regardless, I wanted to put it off till today. So yeah, I'm the one who hasn't seen this.
So spoiler: Wanda's in the episode.
God damn it!
Is Vision in it? I don't remember.
Anyway, so last episode was 60s into 70s sort of thing, the Brady Bunch thing. Wanda was pregnant, or rather, Wanda wasn't pregnant, and then she was pregnant, and then she had a baby. Only it was twins, and she's definitely aware that nothing in Westview is entirely what it seems, and she's fine with that. She wants it this way. And if you dare to try to disrupt her perfect little happy little slice of Americana, she will send you to the cornfield.
She will eat you.
And yeah, she'll yeet you right out of her little bubble of magic.
I'm sticking to this is her coping mechanism.
It could very well be her coping mechanism, you know, getting snapped back into out of existence and then back into existence 5 years later. After just witnessing her boyfriend getting his forehead ripped open. And yeah, she could have just gone bibbledy and just decided, I'm gonna make my own America with blackjack and hookers, only forget the blackjack and the hookers. And so she decided to make Pleasantville.
We keep making jokes about that, but we have to go watch it one of these days again.
Yeah, Pleasantville was a good movie. There's a lot of that sort of comparison, you know, the perfect little sitcom America thing. And we know that S.W.O.R.D. is at least monitoring what's going on. Because we saw at the end of the first episode, they were like watching the transmission, as it were. And then we saw the model of a little toy model of a helicopter with the S.W.O.R.D. logo. And then Geraldine was wearing a necklace that had the S.W.O.R.D. logo on it, which is what got her yeeted out of Westview.
No. Mentioning Voltron...
not Voltron, Ultron.
Ultron. Mentioning Ultron...
There's a crossover for you.
I was more about Pietro.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, she's like, yeah, Ultron killed him. And she's like, first you just mentioned my dead brother.
Well, no, but she had brought up Pietro first.
Oh, she did bring him up, but she mentioned nothing about his death. That was her. Well,
no, you could see that she was that Wanda was somber about him. She knew he was gone and wasn't coming back.
Broke her concentration. All
all of her concentration was sort of shot right there. Like her American accent was suddenly dropped when she started singing that Sokovian lullaby to the twins, and her Sokovian accent had come back briefly when she started talking about Pietro. But it wasn't until Geraldine mentioned he was killed by Ultron that suddenly she snapped back into, American, into her fantasy. and was like, no, and yeet. So, and Vision is one of those, is an interesting case, because from what we've seen, he is also becomes aware at times that the illusion isn't perfect. And every time it's come up, she has rewound the simulation, as it were. In the first episode, it happened right before the beekeeper showed up. But it was the beekeeper that made her rewind it back before Vision started bringing up his own concerns. And then they got distracted by, holy crap, baby bump. And then last episode, when he started bringing it up, there was literally looked like the stream had skipped a moment. And then it's back before he started bringing up the concerns, and now he's just, focused on baby. He has some agency, but it's only when Wanda isn't paying full attention to him for some reason. And the others are the others in Westview, like Herb and Agnes, and even the Doctor, are also have those moments when her concentration lapses, and they sort of hint at it, but they're like, I can't be too overt about it, or she will notice, and then bad things happen. There was the whole my mentioning sending people to the cornfield, etc. is a reference to an old Twilight Zone episode called "It's a Good Life," where there was this 10-year-old boy who had reality warping powers, and everybody basically had to be happy all the time. They couldn't discipline him if he did something they didn't like, because he would basically snap them out of existence.
The 8 Children of the Corn?
No, not Children of the Corn. It's basically his town in Ohio is literally the only thing that exists, because his powers are basically made it so there's nothing outside his little bubble. Obviously that's not the case here. There's clearly something outside the bubble, but inside that bubble, Wanda is pretty aware of things. Something I kind of want to see them do, in whether they do it in this episode or in some other future episode in the season, I want there to be a moment when there's a scene cut. Maybe they do the whole Gilligan cut sort of joke, where it's somebody will make some comments no, we are not going to the store, and then there's a cut, and then they're in the store, sort of gag, something like that, where they go from one scene to the next without the establishing shot. But I want the people in the scene, maybe not Wanda, but some of the other characters that go along with the cut, to be suddenly have that moment of how did we get here? They're in Wanda and Vision's living room one moment, and the next they're at a town hall meeting or something, and the others are wait, how did we get here?
Magic.
Yeah. Obviously you guys know stuff about this episode and I don't, so I think we'll just sort of wrap up this little intro here, unless you guys have anything you want to add.
What gave you this hint? The fact that we're being quiet and letting you go on town? And
yeah, pretty much. So yes, we'll just go ahead and wrap this up here, get to the episode, and we'll be back after the binge.
While the binge is happening, thanks for listening to our podcast. Please give us a like and subscribe and spread the word. You can reach us on social media on Facebook or Twitter at BTD_Bingecast. The Bored to Death Clan is part of the CKCC Radio podcast family, including J Bunny's Music Hub, the Race Nerd Podcast, Real Paranormal Talk, Ranking Tracks, Motivational Moves, Girls Who Like, and The Nerd Table. Please consider supporting CKCC Radio on Patreon. And now, the binge is done, so let's get to the discussion.
And we're back. So, this, in a sense, you could almost call a meta episode, because, well, you guys already know this. This episode sort of showed us everything that was happening in, or outside of Westview, up to the end of last episode. We get confirmation that Geraldine is indeed Monica Rambeau, daughter of Maria Rambeau.
So where did you read that
I actually saw it on like TV tropes. I like to read up on that sort of thing there. I saw that it was listed there. Yeah, I was like, I didn't necessarily consider that to be canon until I had actual confirmation on it. Yeah, IMDb also lists her as Geraldine/Monica Rambeau, but again, I don't consider that canon until I see confirmation in show, which we got this time. So Monica had been snapped or blipped, as they call it in the universe.
Everyone else, most people didn't know that there was a snap that involved.
They just sort of blipped out of existence and then blipped back in. And her mother had been had surgery for to remove a cancer or something, but in that five-year period, the cancer came back and she died. And we saw all the chaos from the blip as people started phasing back into reality, and all the problems that sort of caused in a hospital. It's like they're all coming back. We don't have the capacity. And we find out that Sword had essentially been you all right there?
Oh, god damn.
He just sneezed himself out of existence.
I sneezed myself back into.
But Sword here, Sentient Weapons Observation and Response Division. They do sort of monitor stuff from extraterrestrial things, but when Monica returned to work, her ID badge wouldn't let her in because, well, she got blipped.
Well, 5 years.
Yeah.
There are people who are bigger douchebags than they are at my work.
Oh, you're talking about the security guard who wouldn't let her in?
My name badge isn't working.
Yeah.
Guess you don't work here, do ya?
It's like if you worked here...
it is a highly classified lockdown area.
Exactly.
Then how'd she get through the front door?
My question comes down to, if a person walked into a highly classified area...
Here's the thing. She could get onto the compound because... And I'm basing this on where I work, because I work at a secure government facility as well. When you're coming in, you're basically showing your badge to a security guard who basically they look, okay, yes, you're bad, you look like the person on the badge, but then actually getting into secure rooms, you would need to badge in, and if you don't have the clearance, then you're not getting in.
Which goes to the same that I'm about to say, the badge isn't working, the security guard's just sitting there. I'm pretty sure it'd be more responsive. Swipe, doesn't work. Swipe, doesn't work. Give her!
No. Again, basing this on where I work. It could depend on what kind of room or area of the compound you're trying to get into.
She was trying to get in the director's office.
No, she was trying to get into a hallway.
Wasn't even had her mom's picture on there and it said director.
That was like a memorial wall.
Oh.
Yeah.
But she meets with the acting director, who had replaced her mother. Apparently, Maria Rambeau had been the director of Sword. And there's protocols that were put in place for the people who vanished, and it's like you're confined to terrestrial operations until they can basically clear you. And so she's given this little missing persons thing from the FBI, where we meet Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man and Wasp.
Knew he looked familiar.
There was a cute little thing I noticed when she drove to Westview to meet with him. When he got his card out, he did a little magic trick where he sort of snapped it out, and I'm like, he's been spending a little bit of time with Scott Lang in the 3 weeks or so since the D blip, because when she reported to Sword HQ, it was 3 weeks or so after she had returned. But that's when they find out that essentially the town of Westview has been removed from the records, as it were. The town is visibly there. The sign is there, and when they talk to the sheriffs right there next to the Westview sign, they're like, "Tell us about the town of Westview." No such town.
That thing behind you doesn't exist.
It's like so. What city are you from? Eastview.
It's like people staying next to Spider-Man 3 sign. It doesn't exist.
for a different reason.
Yeah. And so Monica sent in like a little sword drone, which was a little helicopter thing. It goes through the little energy field barrier, and Monica then steps up to investigate it, touches it, even though you know you shouldn't, and it sucks her in. And so then Sword sets up shop there along with literally like every single agency they could get. They got Darcy from the Thor movies, and now a doctor of astrophysics in her own right, to investigate things, and she's the one who finds the TV signal.
Well, she had some other programs that other agencies weren't using because they were all from a different background.
Yeah, they literally were bringing in people from any sort of scientific field they could because they were baffled by what was going on. And Darcy, because of her work with Jane Foster in the Thor movies, is a little bit more familiar with like energy fields and whatnot, and had some equipment that allowed her to pick up the signal, which was buried in cosmic background radiation.
I still want to know why they brought the AI guy in. Maybe they thought it might have been Ultron or something like that.
Well, because they literally didn't know what was going on.
It was cameos.
Yeah, and they were literally just pulling in literally anybody they could, throwing everything at the wall and seeing what stuck.
That does sound like a government thing to do.
Well, if you don't know what the hell it is, you want to try to figure it out. You want to figure it out fast.
Yes.
And so then they literally were doing like what we would basically be doing. It's like, who is that person? What does this mean? You know, they literally had like a whiteboard where they were doing like the red string theories.
Yeah, I was at this point there was no red string involved.
But they were like they were identifying the various people in Westview and what roles they were playing inside the sitcom reality, and we then saw things how like the little like rewind segments we saw. To their point of view, they didn't see the rewind. They just saw like a little stutter in the transmission, and we don't see the rewind at all. Which, interesting. The beekeeper was just another sword agent in
he had like a radiation suit.
Like a radiation suit who just went in through the sewers to see if they could bypass the energy field that way.
Like it can't go under. It shouldn't go underground. There's no reason for it.
And nope, yes it did.
Which crushed my dreams and hopes.
What, you were hoping it was the Nazi made of bees?
Yes, I was hoping for a Spider-Man villain in this thing.
I have a feeling there's not going to be villains in it. It's just going to be Wanda.
Well, no, I suspect there's probably something more going on. The hexagon thing, I had originally thought was literally just their programs, you know, how they'd set up the things on their screens and everything. Nope, that's apparently something that's coming out of the actual transmission.
With the whiteboard
and so even on the whiteboards, why hexagons? I like that in universe, even the brightest minds on the planet are as baffled by this as we are.
Which makes you wonder where Bruce Banner is.
Professor Hulk, probably
still
at the Avengers compound, and probably trying to rehab his arm because his arm was still in a sling when we saw it at the end of Endgame.
Like, we need all the most smartest minds in the world. Professor Hulk's over there doing his arm thing.
Well, he was also probably working on rebuilding the quantum time tunnel technology, because that all got destroyed when Thanos blew up the Avengers base.
That's true.
And they no longer had Tony Stark there to help them with it. Granted, they did it once. It was just a matter of reconstructing it and then figuring out the coordinates they needed to send Cap back with. And that's a fairly important thing to take care of, because you got to return those Infinity Stones to their proper timelines, or timelines go bye-bye. That was a thing. Remember, the Ancient One told Hulk that, or told Banner that in Endgame.
So you think this takes place before the funeral?
I don't know about that, but the funeral happened, and then Cap went back.
The Cap came back at the funeral.
No, he didn't.
Because he was the old man at the end of the end of it.
Right, but that was after the funeral.
Yeah, the funeral wasn't the very last thing in the movie. It was literally Cap sitting on the bench.
And giving the shield to Falcon. But, it could be taking place around that same time. We don't know how much time passed between the end of the Battle of Earth, and the them sending Cap back. Could have been only like a week or so. Could have been several weeks later. We don't know. But
it was really funny when you finish the episode. It says recommended to watch or we're going to play next was Age of Ultron.
Well, we also did see what happened when Wanda realized that Geraldine wasn't who she said she was. And she literally yeeted her through a wall and straight out of town. Yeah, several walls. And fences. And several miles before coming out of the energy field. And then Wanda's like, oh shit, and puts the walls back together. And then when she turned around to talk to Vision,
he was dead.
He was dead with the big old hole in his head from when Thanos ripped his head open.
Which is what I was going to say.
Yes.
I had to hold it now. I'm wondering, is that her memory kicking in, or is she reanimating his body to make that happen?
That's a good question.
And it's just that her concentration was off, that he ended up looking that way.
That is one of the central mysteries of the show. Is he alive?
Geraldine wasn't part of her whole plan, but coming through the field changed
it inserted her into the narrative. Well, and I think I pointed this out for episode 2 when Geraldine introduced herself. There was that moment of confusion on her face when Wanda asked for her name. It's like she realized, oh shit, I'm not supposed to, I don't know what my name is, because she was just supposed to be a background character, and not even that, literally just like an extra. Because she was not supposed to be there. She is literally an extra. But then she gets promoted to a speaking role. And, but with Vision, if he is just like a construct of Wanda's memories and her inability to let him go, would that make him a persistence of vision? Nobody knows what that means.
Nope.
Never mind. I'm a geek.
He's thinking too deep into it, folks.
Yes. Well, no. I was trying to make a bad pun, but sadly nobody got it. Sigh. Oh, the peanut gallery understood.
You're not alone.
But yeah, we still don't really know what is going on in Westview. Whether this is somebody created this and thrust Wanda in there, whether this is her exercising her abilities, and maybe her abilities got stronger somehow. Although, wait,
so I was good.
Well, go ahead.
So the whole theory of her using his body, if that is
like puppeting his dead body.
Because at the very end, you could see his face, like he doesn't want to be there, or he's like really super, like there's something weird going on.
Looks
so maybe because if that's true, then in my mind, I'm thinking of somehow his mind is kind of coming back in a sense, and he was like, oh my god, this is like not a good thing.
Because why else would he be asking questions?
Yeah, going back to Infinity War, before the stone got ripped out of his head, Shuri had been working to disconnect the Mind Stone without killing it. And it was only when it wasn't Cull Obsidian, it was Corvus Glaive invaded her lab and tried to take the stone by force, that Wanda tried to destroy the Mind Stone to prevent Thanos from getting it, and then he just used the Time Stone to rewind it back. It could be that, there's enough distributed parts of his mind, like, in his corpse, that with her animating it, it is starting. It's starting to bring him back.
If that's true, he's probably like, please, just this is not a good grieving way.
You need to let me go, kind of thing. That's a good theory.
That's how Marvel Zombies started.
Oh my God! If they work in a Marvel Zombies thing with this,
that's not how Marvel Zombies started.
Okay.
Not at all.
Yeah, but hey, the whole, like, his corpse sort of being puppeted by her, and him sort of becoming aware again.
Did we not learn anything from Wonder Woman 84?
No, we didn't.
You gotta take back your wish.
That's a different universe, man.
We're taking back our wish. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, you need to take back your wish. But
Wanda, do it.
What I was going to say is, because I briefly had, for a moment, forgot that her powers were granted to her when they were experimenting with the Mind Stone. She and Pietro both got their powers thanks to Hydra experimenting with the Loki's scepter, which had the Mind Stone in it. But
was that the mind or the reality?
It was the Mind Stone, because they took the stone out of the scepter to put into the Vision body in Age of Ultron.
Okay.
But what color are Wanda's powers?
Red.
And which Infinity
Yellow. Stone?
No, but which Infinity Stone
That's
in
reality.
the MCU? Right, Reality Stone. What if she or her powers? Yeah, were sort of. What if the ether, which was the Reality Stone, actually sort of affected her in some way, but the Mind Stone just sort of unlocked her reality warping abilities.
That's what they're going with it,
right? I'm just throwing ideas out there. I have no idea how any of this is working either. I'm just looking for anything. Anything else?
I'm just trying to do research. That's why I'm so quiet, because I'm saying we're watching the end of Endgame.
And you rewatch it. You got research, you just trying to catch yourself back up.
I remember them sending Cap at the funeral place, at the house, because the funeral took place at the secondary lab.
Heart Lake.
No, yeah. The funeral was at Tony Stark and Pepper's house at Heart Lake, which was not next to Avengers compound.
Nope. But they had a secondary. There's the place is in the woods.
Right.
Yeah.
With the teleporter. It's already been built up.
Right.
And
because remember, Avengers compound got nuked by Thanos.
You're gonna have to go back like 30 minutes into the movie.
I know. That's why I'm so quiet. I'm at 30 minutes.
I was right.
I'm. Them bringing up Pietro does make me wonder if he is going to pop up in some way.
People are talking that they're going to bring in the kid that did the X-Men one.
Oh, the other Quicksilver?
Yep.
That would be funny if they go with that.
Well, he is part of a technical multiverse.
Yeah, and they are bringing the multiverse into this.
Lead into multiverses.
And who knows? Maybe this is how they fold the X-Men into.
What about their Wanda? Their Wanda was like a little girl, like 5 years old or something, or 3.
This is true. They weren't twins in the X-Men universe. I don't know, but considering that the X-Men universe is effectively dead, they're not going to be continuing anything more. Oh, so did you get the answer you were looking for?
It was next to the Quayo. That was Avengers compound. So
yeah, I figured that's what it was. The compound itself is going to take way longer to rebuild, but rebuilding the quantum time tunnel stuff would take less time. And now that they've essentially done it, just moving it someplace.
Because I was looking for the point of where Wanda was talking to Hawkeye, and because Hawkeye's like, I hope they know we did it. And Wanda goes, she does. They both do. I'm like, okay, where between that point is what I was talking about, Cap coming back. It's like, okay, so there was a big chunk before after that.
There was the funeral, there was them meeting, or was that post funeral? Wanda and Hawkeye.
After.
It was after the funeral.
After the funeral.
Yeah. So there was funeral, that meeting, and then time tunnel thing. So
it seems a lot longer because they had a whole bunch of everybody going bye.
Yeah. As they wrote out the various other characters, Thor passing on the crown to Valkyrie,
but not forgetting to go say hi to Star-Lord.
Well, no, he's not just saying hi with
He's
Star-Lord.
going on a trip. He's going to be in
the Asgardians of the galaxy. We're still looking. That's another movie that's still got to come out. There's also
it needs to be
Love and Thunder too, isn't there?
It doesn't need to come out. It needs to be filmed.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a whole lot of stuff in the post-Endgame MCU that we've yet to see, like Black Widow.
Black Widow's completed. Just needs to
be released.
Come out.
Yep. But yeah, we've a whole lot of stuff here just to add to the speculation. And no real answers to anything.
It's just them pulling the curtain back a little bit.
Pulling back the curtain.
I mean, they're doing it right. They made it a weekly show, so you don't get all your answers at once.
Yep.
They're making it so people continue to talk about it.
Drip feeding you mysteries and answers and stuff. Like, we found out who the beekeeper was. Literally just some guy.
He was not a Spider-Man.
What a guy he was.
But we didn't see what happened to him.
He's gone.
Yeah, we just saw him. We just saw him come up out of the sewer in his radiation suit, now a beekeeper's outfit, and the neighborhood was colorized until he turned around and saw Wanda, who was looking at him, and then suddenly everything goes grayscale, and she just goes no, and he's just staring at her like, oh shit.
She just knowed him out of existence. He's at the other side of the field.
Yeah, so we still don't know what happened to him.
His name was Bob.
Peel the
Bob, Agent of Sword. Sam's over here just shaking his head.
I would have loved the scene because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they did a director that wasn't Nick Fury and it wasn't Phil Coulson.
Yeah.
They did a substitute. I would have loved to see them bring that guy in to be the director for S.H.I.E.L.D. Sword. And make it a twin brother kind of guy.
Kind of like Patton Oswalt's characters in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes!
Where when everybody realized they were like exactly the same, they were like, are these life model decoys or something? No, they're literally just triplets.
Yes. It's like, they should have done that and made it so that way, I mean, the directors they had was just a small spot, but it kind of like those laughable moments.
Yeah, we did essentially get the, we interrupt this program thing, but as the title of the episode. Remember we were talking back for the first 2 episodes, and we wanted to see that we interrupt this broadcast to bring you a message from the president.
Yes!
And we're still kind of hoping on something like that.
Come on, man, but it has to have Kevin Feige.
Yes.
It has to have Kevin Feige as the president.
Only other thing I would accept is if it's one of the other Avengers trying to reach out to Wanda but posing as the president.
God, make it be how they bring
Old
Tony...
Cap.
Yes.
Old Cap.
With a flag in the back waving.
And then the joke will be like, it's nice of them to cast Joe Biden as the president.
Oh my God. I knew it was going to get there eventually.
But yeah, I'm still enjoying the episode. Now we just gotta wait until next week to find out what's next in terms of in what's happening in the sitcom reality. And as a nice bonus,
or are they going to continue trying to figure stuff out?
Well, and that's what I was about to say. As a nice bonus, doing these episodes showing what's going on outside the bubble allows them to hold off having to update the time period of the sitcom right away, because it was going 50s, 60s, 70s, 9 episodes of the series. How do you stop from getting too far ahead?
It means we're not getting the Jetson episode now. Thank you, Phil episode. We wanted those Jetson episodes.
Flintstones. I wanted a Flintstones episode.
We passed that time frame away.
No, actually, if you go by that fan theory that the Flintstones and the Jetsons actually take place at the same time, the Flintstones are living down on the surface, and the Jetsons are all and everybody are living up.
No, I did not hear that one before. But doesn't that get canceled out because of the time travel movie they did?
There were like crossover episodes where there was like time travel or something involved. I think the Great Gazook or whatever.
Yeah, time travel.
The Great Gazook was like involved in
smog.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And to the Flintstones, the smog was clouds.
See, I wish I was in the same boat as you, but I'm like, after an episode like that, I kind of like the TV episodes. I really wish
you want more of the sitcom rather than the meta.
This episode kind of bounced me back out because remember at the beginning of watching it, like, I'm not really looking forward to this.
The opening of the episode was very much like the opening of an MCU movie.
Yeah,
it was like the prologue to an MCU movie, and then we got the Marvel Studios ID, and then thrust right back into everything. So we didn't, because this was outside the bubble, we didn't get the WandaVision.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like those random things.
Well, but it makes sense that we wouldn't get them because this is outside of the bubble.
True.
I'm disappointed that they didn't show everyone's reactions to the fake commercials. Because we saw Darcy starting to see the Strucker watch commercial, but she just sort of checked out.
Know about it.
This is true, but what would have been the reaction of the Sword agents and the other people who know who Baron von Strucker is?
Excuse me, did she just... Oh, no.
Yeah, because I guarantee you, once they found out that this was involved with Wanda, they had somebody from the Avengers or some former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent who has all of the information on Wanda Maximoff on hand. But, yeah, still an intriguing series, still wondering what the hell is going on. Who knows, maybe next episode is 80s, or maybe next episode is more meta, and them further investigating things. But
how many episodes? It's 9 episodes.
9 episodes.
Episode 4.
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 more episodes, which would get them up to 90s and noughties, and then maybe then you have another meta episode before you get into a 2-part finale.
Did you say 90s or naughties?
90s and then noughties, as in the 2000s.
Oh my God, my brain hurts. I heard naughties. I'm like, wait, what era is that one?
Yeah, I guess you haven't heard that abbreviation for the 2000s, huh?
No, I have not. I've heard of the apocalypse, but the naughties.
No. The apocalypse started last year.
Okay. I get it.
The roaring 2020s.
That's okay. I'm not even. Just don't get this stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, but.
Well, how's it feel to see a TV back in your era? As you guys cannot tell, I'm getting the death glare today.
I did have a cathode ray TV in my room for a long ass time, and I finally did upgrade to like an HD TV because I was getting tired of having to keep finding like an RF adapter to plug my consoles into.
Far enough to get an RF adapter for an HD system.
Yeah, I did.
That's Jay for you.
Because I couldn't.
Money you make. Oh my God.
No. This was when I was still working at BJ's.
Still.
Then it was because I needed to get one that would fit on the TV stand that I had, because my room was a mess and I didn't have anywhere else to put it. But hey,
just like most penny pitcher dads like mine, he used the same TV stand forever. Oh wait, we got an HD TV. It has a spot like this. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take that centerpiece out. There we go. And now it's perfect for an HD TV now.
Yep.
Until we got a 4K.
Remember,
Mom's like, nope, we're not doing this again.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah, there you go.
We had that TV stand for 20 years.
There's a thing. You wonder if, like, when they hit the 80s and 90s episodes, they're going to have some character in Westview that's like the reduce, reuse, recycle sort of character. Would it be Agnes or would it be Mrs. Hart?
Would there be a person of that? And you have to get them into the 2000s.
No, they were doing the whole reduce, reuse, recycle thing in the 90s.
Back with Captain Planet.
Yep. Captain Planet.
Not Not as hard as they're doing it now.
Yeah, that's true, but that's because we suddenly realized, oh shit, the world's fucked. we need to start
now.
Yeah.
Put the Band-Aid on it.
You know, when you decapitate something, I don't think a Band-Aid will help.
Yeah.
Can we cauterize the wound?
Nope.
Oh.
Technically, the Earth is doing that to itself. It's called climate change.
COVID-19.
No, that's just humans being stupid. But no, global
Wouldn't
warming
it be a nice day
is.
if that stopped happening?
We're never gonna get back to normal.
Nope.
What's this normal you speak of? This is my normal.
No.
No.
Do not start thinking that way. This
Wait,
is not
hold
the
on.
new normal.
The new normal is when you get that second mask on.
That's right.
No!
Zeke recently heard that recommendation from one of the COVID experts, just sort of like you should double up on a mask. He's just waiting for his job to.
His eyes just widen. All right.
Nope.
To quote a phrase from a movie I just saw, even assholes get a second chance, and I'll walk out.
But yeah, so now we're just rambling now, so we should probably just go ahead and wrap this episode of the Bingecast up. So for Zeke and Peanut and Sam, I'm Jay. We'll see you next time for the children.
For the children.
Thanks for listening to the Bored to Death Bingecast. Be sure to check out our library of past podcasts via CKCC Radio or via our YouTube channel, and give us a like and subscribe. We'll see you after our next binge.